Hello everyone, this is Chris, and one of the big things that can tell you whether or not you have a really good seed or not is the condition of the spawn of your world. Spawn in many seeds, it never needs to really be anything too spectacular or anything, but it needs to have at least the bare essentials, such as maybe a little forest near spawn, maybe a nice village to get yourself some starter food, and maybe some other nice fundamental things you would expect when spawning into a world. But what if you're not even given the fundamentals of what makes a Minecraft world great? Well, in my mind, that would be kind of a pain in the ASS, but because I'd rather not get demonetized, let's just say it's a pain in the glass, which, hey, by the way, that's exactly what today's seed is, pain in the glass. And this seed is definitely a pain in the glass, because this island right here, this is your spawn, and you might notice that there's a certain thing missing, a certain very important thing you really need to spawn in with. Trees. There is absolutely no wood type, no wood variants, no wood, nothing on this spawn island. And you might be thinking, okay, there might be another tree, maybe like another 50 to 100 blocks away. You're mistaken, because we head over here, we see, wait a minute, this island over here is completely barren of wood. That island over there, which you can see the distance, is completely barren of wood. There is no wood in this spawn for about, I think it's about 700 blocks from your spawn. So even though there's not a single tree type anywhere in the spawn, you do still have access to wood. It's just a small bit more difficult than your normal access to wood, because if you head yourself over this way, you might notice right in the water there is a shipwreck just underneath here. And if we swim our way over here, you can see that, yeah, there is a shipwreck sitting right here, which means you technically do have access to some type of wood, but it's going to be extraordinarily difficult to get yourself some wood. Because if we hop ourselves into survival, that means that we are on a strict oxygen limit, which means we're going to have to head our way right the way down here, mine up a single bit of wood. But here's the catch. Your bubbles will go away quicker than you'd be able to actually mine an entire block. Or maybe we'll actually have enough. Maybe we'll have just enough, but okay, it's gonna be close. I'm not so sure. Okay, we got ourselves one single bit of wood, and we nearly died. So getting wood on this one seed is a very difficult thing, and you never think about getting wood as a really difficult thing, but in this particular spawn, it is definitely very hard to do. But let's say you're not too interested in trying to drown yourself and getting yourself wood, then what you might want to do, maybe not, but what you might want to do is you might want to head this way to mainland, because yeah, about 500 or so blocks this way, there is mainland with eventually some trees. You will come across this one iceberg, which will make traversing the land just a little bit easier, but still it's no serious easy thing. But yeah, when you head your way over here, you might notice that wait a minute, there's still no trees, there's still no wood, because you spawn directly inside of a desert. Granted, you do get a desert well, you do get yourself a village, but that still means that you do not have any source of wood of any type apart from the shipwrecks. You have no trees, you have no saplings, you have none of that when you spawn into this world. And let me just say, this village is actually one of the saddest villages I think I've seen in a very long time, because we only have one, two, three buildings in this entire village. Granted, you do get yourself a little bit of food, but unfortunately it is on top of a small hill, which means you're gonna have to try and traverse your way around it. Even if you got yourself all the way out here, you're probably gonna be very low in your hunger, so getting yourself here might be more difficult than you think, because you might be right on your last little bits of hunger bar before you could actually get yourself a little bit of food. But then you might be thinking, wait a minute, I need a crafting table to make the bread from the wheat, and to make a crafting table, I need wood. Well, this village has you covered, because luckily in these three buildings right here, one of them happens to actually have a crafting table right inside of it. So even though getting wood is quite a lot more difficult than what it normally is inside of seeds, you at least have the crafting table right here to help you out. And when you head yourself about this far out, which is about 1,000 blocks from spawn, you will at last finally run into your first types of trees, savanna trees and oak trees. And again, trees, like, it's never a thing to really think about as being rare, but when you find scenes like this, it's actually quite a lot more difficult to get. And if you keep going further and further into Savannah, you'll see that you'll find this Savannah village, but it's the unfortunate abandoned village, which means you don't even get the benefits of having an actual village. You just get yourself a whole bunch of zombie villages and a whole bunch of other types of nasty things inside here. You don't even get yourself an iron golem in here to help protect you and help protect the villages. So yeah, kind of a sad village, but it's a village nonetheless, with still beds, with still some types of chests, with some types of things in here. But let's be honest, when wandering around a world aimlessly, you're kind of expected to find at least some type of village like this. One structure you're not expecting to find just wandering around is the stronghold, which unfortunately you are heading in the absolute wrong direction, because if we do slash locate stronghold, we might notice that we're going in the complete wrong direction. We need to go about another 1,000 blocks back. No, another 500 blocks this way, and then another 700 blocks. Is it this way? I think it's this way. Yeah, you had another 700 blocks this way, which means, yeah, to get yourself to the stronghold is a very challenging thing, because getting yourself wood is a very challenging thing, and then having to backtrack yourself a little bit, going all the way back here, going all the way over this. Again, very, very difficult stuff. On the positive side, when you head your way this way, you'll eventually finally come across a village that is actually noteworthy, because it's a relatively decent sized one. It actually spawns in an iron golem this time, and it also once again spawns right next to a desert temple. So at this point, you're actually going to finally have maybe some wooden tools at least. Then you'll be at the point where you can dig yourself down here, break this, and get the loon side here, which is kind of cool at least. And when you finally make it to these coordinates, then you know you are directly above the stronghold inside this one village. And if everything else was a little bit tricky and a little bit long-ended, going back and forth and everything, then at the very least the stronghold is a small bit easier to get access to, because as you can see right here, there's a small bit of it exposed inside the ocean. Only a small bit of it, not every single bit of it, like what you see in some of it, and the iron golem fell down there. Okay, but yeah, the reason this one is actually a little bit easier is because when you head your way over here, all you have to do is dig yourself down one block, head yourself down this way, and then you are inside of the stronghold room with, unfortunately, an empty portal, and like, everything else in this seed is kind of not the best, but at least it's a little bit easier to get yourself into. But can we say the same about the Nether? Is there an absolutely amazing Nether, or is it absolutely terrible? Well, that's the question that I am about to answer right now, and if you place it in there, you'll spawn right in here, which is not the worst spawn. I mean, you do spawn right next to this one Crimson Forest, which I guess piglin trading is a possibility, but because you had like, you know, such a rough time getting everything else, getting the gold is probably basically not happening for the most part. But what about the fortress? What about the actual thing you're going to need? So okay, it's over this lava lake, which will make it even more difficult. But I guess if you want to try and go your way around this way and over this way, it's kind of possible. But it's, oh, we're even going in the complete wrong direction. It's actually the other direction which we are going. If you head your way over this way, you will have to pile yourself up a little bit, and at least it's not over lava. But again, you are going to have to go up and down and around, and right here, right into the fortress, which I did not even know was that close. So I guess on one side, the getting to the Nether Fortress is a small bit easier than getting to everything else in this one seed. But at the end of the day, even though I was kind of blasting this one seed, I think this one could make for a really, really fun type of challenge where you spawn inside of a world where you have no types of wood apart from the shipwreck if you want to, but you have to try and traverse a long way to try and get yourself some wood. Like, it's playing Minecraft in a way you don't really think about, where, you know, the necessities of spawning in your world just isn't there for you. So if you want to take on the challenge of trying out this one seed where you don't even spawn in with trees, then be my guest. But yeah, for now, that's pretty much all I have for you. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.